Hello and welcome to the Green Group's presentation and findings for Second Harvest Food Bank. So this is our team. Victoria Mayfield, our project manager. Taylor Cannon, our point of contact. Kamaya Hardaway, our direct liaison. Taylor Rogue as support manager. Emma Nesbitt, our legal advisor. And me, Frank Higginbotham, the creative director. What we will be discussing for you is simple. For the first few slides, we will be discussing the background information. Next, we will be discussing our initial findings and problems that we pulled from management and interviews. And lastly, we will be discussing our list of recommendations that we established from our findings. And we'll kick things off with the background information. So Second Harvest of Food Bank was founded in 1982 by Archbishop Philip M. Hannon, Bishop Roger P. Morin, and Gregory Ben Johnson. On September 13, 1985, Second Harvest Food Bank became fully accredited member of America's Second Harvest. Second Harvest Food Bank leads the fight against hunger in South Louisiana by providing food access, advocacy, education, and disaster response. Second Harvest provides food and support to over 700 community partners and programs across 23 parishes. Second Harvest Food Bank staff and volunteers distribute the equivalent of more than 32 million meals to over 210,000 people a year. On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck and Second Harvest service area, followed by Hurricane Rita on September 24. Forced out of its facility in New Orleans, the staff of Second Harvest regrouped in Baton Rouge within 48 hours of Katrina's landfall, despite the fact that many of the staff had lost their own homes and others were unaware of the fate of their friends and family members. By September 2005, Second Harvest became the largest food bank in the world's history with the help of America's Second Harvest, now feeding America and skilled food bank volunteers from all over the country.
Alrighty, so now we're going to dive right into the scope of work that we have for the whole entire project. So when we first started talking about what areas Second Harvest needed help in, we were told that they needed help with their marketing plan, website, social media, and coming up with plans or ideas rather to reach a younger audience. We took that and broke it down into these 3 points and have since done research to provide educated solutions to these issues. Let's take a look at what we found. All right, so let's have a behind the scenes look at Second Harvest. So first of all, we had 4 methods of coming about our findings. The first being interviews. We had interviews with a couple of the main people at the Harvest, namely Jay Weiss, the head of marketing, and the CEO, Natalie, as well as a Second Harvest previous service learning partner at Loyola. We also took a deep dive at their Google Analytics account to see how they interact with that platform. And then we looked at the competition and compared their social media platforms, websites, and how they, what strategies they use for their marketing, along with Second Harvest's. Finally, we took a tour of the facilities to take a walkthrough and get an idea of what volunteer path is like and what it's like to come in through a volunteer and what work they do. So we found some great stuff. First of all, disaster response. It is a major thing in Louisiana, especially because Louisiana is notorious for unforgiving storms and hurricanes. And in every instance, Second Harvest is on the scene providing assistance in every way possible. In addition, the organization has an excellent reputation, and that's awesome for a nonprofit. People know exactly where their money is going due to the organization's open finances. Then there's its network, possibly the most well-known food bank in Louisiana, or actually is, with a location in Lafayette as well. Second Harvest has roots with most of the area's food banks, if not all. They're either partners, have been partners, are branches of the same organization, or will be. With that extensive network, they hold a lot of power in just about every place, which is truly invaluable. All right, now I want to talk about the discoveries that we think could be improved upon. When we first got connected to the organization, we found that it was difficult to maintain consistent communication with one another. This led to the first 2 weeks of us connecting, being caught up in emails and follow-up calls. Along with that, an in-depth meeting with Jay Weiss, head of marketing, revealed to us that the organization is a little bit understaffed and quite frankly, a little overworked as well. Weiss confirmed so himself. And when we asked him about his marketing team, it kind of showed that he didn't exactly have one, or at least not a clear-cut one. Usually with marketing teams, you have people who are designated for certain areas, for example, social media, the website, so that they can dedicate focus on those areas. But with this, it seemed like Jay was the one who was behind the scenes for just about everything marketing related, which is quite a lot for a person to be responsible for. Along with that, in the meeting, it was brought up that the organization avoids mentioning touchy subjects like politics and race on their platforms, which is understandable, since that could turn off some potential donors. The marketing methods used by Second Harvest are ones that appeal to an older demographic, for example, direct mail and telethons. We also found a lack of proper communication between the employees, with no systems in place to reinforce communication channels other than traditional methods like email or, for example, whiteboards. Also, after taking a deep dive into the social media and websites, we noticed that there was a little to no branding on their posts, with not enough emphasis on the organization's impact at first look at their site, compared to competition, which had a lot of branding, color schemes, use of icons to tie back to their organization's story. Finally, walk through the facilities where volunteers work, and a brief conversation with the previous service learning partner showed us that volunteers are not given the opportunity to truly immerse themselves in their volunteer experience. Now, let's talk about what we can do to change that.